So I figured since there isn't a lot of content out there about connecting to PDM or PDM Vault from VBA, that we create a specific video on how to log into a vault from VBA, and then maybe check a file out, open it in SOLIDWORKS, make some changes to it, and then check it back into the vault. So that's what we're going to do today. We have SOLIDWORKS 2023 SB1, and we have a new VBA macro open here in the VBA editor. And we're going to go about connecting to my local vault here. To start, I'd like to go make sure that we've got the proper PDM references set. So let's go to Tools, References, and then try to find PDM Works in this list, which I wish had a filter option or somewhere we can search for these checkboxes here. Well, the only consolation is they are alphabetically ordered, so that should be fine. So I'm still looking for that PDM Works, so S should be up there. Alright, so the one that we should be looking for is called PDM Works Enterprise, and they're your PDM year and then type library. So in my case, I've got PDM 2023 here. I'm just going to check this PDM Works Enterprise, type library, and click OK. And that will bring all of the API types and calls from the interop. I'll start by changing this object definition to SOLIDWORKS.SOLIDWORKS. And we're not going to touch the SOLIDWORKS application, at least for now. All we'll do is that we'll define a new variable up here called EDM Vault as EDM Vault 5, and then we'll try to log it into the vault using the auto login or the login auto method that allow us to piggyback up with the existing connection if there's one. If not, then the blue login box will be prompted to the user, and then they can complete the login process then. So let's do that. So I need to create or initiate or instantiate, create a new instance rather of the EDM Vault. So EDM Vault equals new EDM Vault 5, and now I can create a comment here, log into my vault, and type in here EDM Vault login auto, which uses the existing PDM connection. You can just do login as well. You just have to provide the username, password, and vault. I personally prefer to login auto because that removes the issue of having to specify the password in the code, which is kind of a security risk. Preferably, you piggyback up an existing connection, and then that's kind of more secure. So in here, I'm just going to specify the vault name, which in my case is going to be BlueBot. And then after that, I have to specify this parent window handle, which we'll get here in a minute. So I'll call it handle, and then I come up here and I'll define that as dim handle as long. And I need to define another variable here called frame, which is the SOLIDWORKS window, and we'll do SW frame, or set SW frame equals to SW app get frame, or rather frame. And then from here, we'll set the handle to be equal to SW frame get HW handle. And if I were to execute this macro and you see that I have a value here, that looks correct. All right, now I can do a little debug print here and say that, hey, EDM Vault is logged in. So this is gonna return a true or false if we're logged into the vault. So are we logged in? And then I can do an add, or an and, sorry. And I can probably also define another variable here called SW user manager as EDM user manager, or rather, I think it's called iEDM. Let's do that one more time. As iEDM, oops, iEDM user mgr5, and we'll set that to be equal to the vault, so EDM vault. And from here we can do another debug print and print the name of the logged in user. So this will be SW user manager get logged in user and then name. And we'll change this to connected username. And now if I were to run this, I will get a issue here. I have a runtime error because we forget to use the set keyword, and then I'll do that one more time, and I'll see that we are connected to the vault, and we are doing that using the admin account. Awesome. Now that we are connected to the vault, we can go and grab the file that we need to check out, and we need to go and define a new variable. Maybe we can move this definition outside of the main subroutine. I'll do the same thing for the handle and the frame and clean up some of this extra space here. And then do that here as well. All right. Let's define a new variable called SW file as iEDM file 5. And this is the interface or the object that's going to represent a file in PDM. We'll set that to be equal to, and everything comes from the EDM Vault 5 object, since it's the top level object in the API hierarchy. So EDM Vault.get file from path, which is the method that we should be using here. I'm going to specify the complete path to the file. We'll get that here in a minute. And then we need to specify another variable here that's going to hold the folder name. So this will be the folder. So we need to define a variable here called SW folder as iEDM folder 5. And this method will set the value of the folder variable. So we're going to need that when we are checking the file out. So moving that declaration up there, I'm going to go back here, and then I'm going to go grab a file from my vault. I need to make sure that it's checked in. It is. I'll grab the path to the file. When you select a file in File Explorer, just make sure that you have your left shift key pressed, and then right click on the file, and then there should be a new menu item called Copy as Path. Just click that, and that's going to copy the complete file path to your clipboard. So just like that. Beautiful. We can do a little debug print here, doesn't hurt. SW file.name, and it's going to print the name of the file, which is in our case going to be wheel. So let's do that one more time. We're re-logging into the vault, and we've got the wheel.sltprt. Sweet. Now we can check this file out. So let's add a comment, check out the file. Let me clear my immediate window, and then come down here and do SW file. Now the method that we want to use in order to check out the file is to lock it, which is kind of counterintuitive. But if we think of it from the perspective of the programmer or PDM, we are locking the file for our use, so nobody else can use it, and that's kind of is the definition of what checking a file out is. So let's do lock file. And in here, we need to provide the parent folder ID, which we already have through the SW folder object. And then the parent window, which we have through the handle. And we can just completely ignore the EDM lock here. Leave that as is. And then we can do another debug print. SW file. Well, let's do this. Is file checked out? And then we'll just do an end SW file dot is locked. So if the file is locked, it means it's checked out. This should be true. So rerun the code one more time, and we'll see that our file is actually checked out. The lock normally takes a bit of some time to complete. Now, if we were to run this one more time, we're probably going to get an exception here because the file is already checked out. So let's do that and see what we get. PDM is going to throw an exception here. It says the operation is not permitted since the file is checked out. It's highlighting the method lock file here. So just going to click on end, and we can add a, quick if statement just to check if the file is locked or not. So if file is locked equal false, then lock it. So if it's checked in, then hey, do the checkout operation. So let's clean this up one more time and rerun the macro. And is file checked out? Absolutely, it's checked out. Now that the file is checked out, really easy for us to do is to open it in SolidWorks. So we can do set. So oops, we need to define a model doc up here. So let's do that. Dim, I got ahead of myself there. SW model doc as model doc 2, and then scroll all the way down here and go set SW model doc equals to SW app dot open doc, and then we'll just specify the path. It might be a good idea at this point to either define this as a variable of its own, a string, or it might be a good idea to reuse the SW file object by doing the get file or get local path method that's going to return the same path as this. And the folder, it's going to need the SW folder ID. So that's going to be the first parameter, which is the complete system file path to the folder that we are going to open. And OpenDoc is also requiring the type of the document, and this is going to be an enum from the swconst library. So swconst.swdoc types _e swdoc, which is a part. Awesome. This is a method that's currently obsolete, and it's not recommended that you use this. The preference right now is to use the OpenDoc. I think OpenDoc 7 or Open Document, OpenDoc 7. But the purpose of this video is to focus more on PDM rather than SolidWorks. So now that we have our document open, we can do something along the line of setting like a custom property. So SW model doc extension, custom property manager, and then we can do custom property manager. Apologies, I think use parentheses here, and then do add, and then we can just add a new property, call it property for the lack of a better name, and then the field type is going to be a string, or I think it's called text, and then the field value here, we'll call it this is a value. I'm not feeling very creative this Monday, but this should do the job. Let's define a variable that's going to hold the return value from the add method. So let's do dim add property ret or return, as long. And do this to this. Nice. And then we can do something like SW model doc save, and then SW app quit doc, and then SW model doc get title. So this is how we are going to close the document once we save it. And now that the SOLIDWORKS application does not have a lock on the file, it means that we can safely check it back into the vault. So how do we do that? So instead of locking the file, which means checking it out, all we need to do is to unlock it in a way which is done through the SW file interface here. So check file back into the vault. So SW file unlock, and then the parent window handle here. A comment you can get checked in by VBA macro, and then there's a bunch of parameters that we don't technically need to specify to check this file back into the vault. I'm going to put a breakpoint right here just to make sure that the property gets added. We need to make sure that this actually works, because if we try to check a file back into the vault that has not had any changes, what will happen is that the PDM will do an undo checkout, which really makes sense, because if you're not making any changes to it, it should not increment the version. So let's run this and see what we get. Looks like SOLIDWORKS is about to open the file. Nice. And then here, -1, I have to go here and inspect this. And I don't think -1 means that it was added. So I'm going to remove that, go back here and run this one more time. And go back here and see that it actually was not added. So there was something wrong about the way we added these methods here. So it actually might be better for us to use the add3 method. So let's do the add3. And the add3 method actually is going to require a field name, which we already have, a field type, which is a different enum, swconst dot, in our case is be sw custom info type, which will be text, and then after that is a value, and then override. We want to give that another enum, so swconst dot sw property add option, and we'll do delete and add. So if we go up one line and press run, you can see that the return value is 0. So if we go back here, go check the properties, we can see that we have successfully added the property. So this is a good lesson as to why we should always use the latest version of a method with the API. So it was a good idea to use the latest and greatest. So let's go back to the VBA editor and then put a breakpoint here at this level. We're going to save the changes to this document, and then we're going to quit it, or rather close the document, closes in SOLIDWORKS, and then we're going to check the file back into the vault. It takes a second here to do that. I can go back to my file explorer here and refresh. Yep, and I've bring that over here. You can see that the wheel, which is this file right here, is currently checked into the vault. Awesome. we can pretty much add a new line here. So we can do SW file dot refresh, which will refresh the properties of the file, and then do a debug print where we actually define the state of the file checked out. We can copy this line, paste it here. So this line here is going to print the checked out state of the file, and we do that here. You can see that is file checked out equals false. It means that it's checked in. Awesome. Alrighty, this was how to kind of like work with PDM from VBA. Hope this video was useful. You could definitely use some of this code in your PDM tasks. So if you have any questions, make sure to comment this video, reach out directly to me over on YouTube or LinkedIn. More than happy to help. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.